And I don't care. I don't care to be the bad guy. I don't care. I was like, you know what? That is not a good influence. It's not bringing anything good. They're all marrying and cheating. I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with it. I'm not going to participate. I'm not going to be okay with them showing me another woman and me smiling. I'm not going to play that game. So it's boundaries. Like, this is where you stand.
If you don't want to change bad habits, bad stuff, you just want to be you and be free and don't tell me what to do, well, no one can change it. But I wanted to change. I was afraid that if I did something bad, she would be gone. She made it very clear from the beginning.
I heard somebody say one time too, like if a man has problems with women, then there's a lineage and a study that shows that the man also has a hard time with money in their finances. All right, guys. So we're hearing like what it really takes to be in business, the cultivation of couples in business, right? Maybe you're somebody that's watching this episode, you've been following the series, and it's like, you know, building a foundation is something that's so important, right? In the first segment, we talked about core values, principles, belief system, faith, all of these things, right? And now it's like this Christian's like this successful man. He comes in with baggage, right? And it really took belief from Jeanette seeing something in him that maybe he didn't see in himself. And I'm sure, guys, we could relate with that. But let's hear from the women's perspective. Jeanette, like, you having the courage to also like hold this man down. Like, how is that?
A lion.
You know, I want to hear from a woman's perspective.
Where should I start? Tell me a little bit more again. So,
well, at least like from in that time, you know, coming in, you know, Christian coming in, did you ever feel like any sort of pressure? Like, oh my gosh, like he's this big broker and stuff like that, or like?
Well, he was in a big broker. He was a top producer
Okay.
agent, right?
Okay.
I'm like, excuse me. I think it has to do with your personality. So maybe I'm just saying because I've always been very involved, like with my family. I've always been like the mom of everybody in a sense. In my family, I'm the oldest, and I'm always helping everyone. Everyone comes for advice to me, and I'm like, no, let's do this. Like my parents and like my dad will say like, oh, you're like my friend. I was like, oh my God, you're my dad, not my friend. So I had that personality. I think I took it as grounding him. Like he needed to be rooted and grounded. I think that's at that time. I was like, get it together. No. And he had, you know, we always say that environment matters. So at that time, he disconnected with whoever at that time was his friends. It was bad influences. Bad influences. And I don't care. I don't care to be the bad guy. I don't care. I was like, you know what? That is not a good influence. It's not bringing anything good. They're all marrying and cheating. I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with it. I'm not going to participate. I'm not going to be okay with them showing me another woman and me smiling. I'm not going to play that game. So it's boundaries. And like, this is where you stand. Take a stand.
I think you're hitting a lot of key points that I think of us all men, right? We kind of like have seen and been in rooms in, and for you, Jeanette, like being a woman, sharing the other shoes that we can't put ourselves into that perspective. How would you advise, or let's say like, oh, girl's asking you, like she's in the shoes right now, going exactly where you were at in that point where you see like her man is doing this and she doesn't know maybe how to address the situation. She wants better. But she's seeing like, again, like you're saying, the friends are bringing other girls, you know, these late nights, alcohol. How would you, I guess, guide someone like that?
Yeah, I think you need to be so clear, not try to be the cool person and soft or it's okay, you know, whatever. No, just be clear, because if not, you're wasting your time. So I didn't want to waste my time or his time.
Yeah.
So I was just like, hey, listen, this is who I am. This is what I expect. Can you meet that? And I mean it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to mess around. I'll leave.
Yeah.
So I think he knew
Be serious.
that I was serious about it.
Yeah.
And you mean, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll tell you, because you get what you tolerate, right?
That's facts.
And I knew Jeanette wasn't going to tolerate the guy I was. And I had girlfriends before that they would tolerate everything. They were okay with it. And they would just let me be me, right? And but I also know that unless you want to change, no one can change you.
That's true.
So I think they you know, man or women, right? If you don't want to change the bad habits and doing the bad stuff, and you just want to be you and be free and don't tell me what to do, well, no one can change you, right? But I wanted to change, and for me, the price was Jeanette, and I knew who I had to be, and she was strong with me, and I was afraid That's one thing. I was afraid that if I did something bad, she would be gone, right? Like she made it very clear from the beginning, and I didn't want to find out. What's the saying that to fuck around, you're gonna find out.
Oh yeah.
Right?
You see that meme? Yeah, the meme with the graph.
Yeah, you
The
fuck around, you'll find out, and it's all over the social media. I didn't want to fuck around because I didn't want to find out. Because I knew if I find out, she was gone, right?
Yeah.
And a couple times I messed up, and I did, cross the line, and she was strong, and I had never had a woman like her. I can tell you that.
It's almost like a challenge too for a man,
you
right?
respect that
I
too.
had
though.
never had a woman be like, "No, this is not okay, and I'm leaving, and I'm done. I'm not gonna put up with your shit."
I like that.
He's like, but,
Yeah. So,
Well, men like the challenge too. Like I think, or naturally, we just love to be challenged sometimes. So maybe, did you ever take that as like a challenge sometimes?
no, I think a lot of women are very submissive.
So you just walk
Which is
over.
not a bad
in
thing,
way.
but you can be submissive to the bad stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if your man's great and he's working and he's a man of God and all that, yeah, I mean, you could be submissive, at some
I
point,
have a different
right?
perspective.
But
Please
and of
share
course
that.
we do have sometimes different perspective. But let me just finish
Let's,
this.
let's hear about that.
But I think she was strong. She was like, no, dude, I want to be a wife and I want to build a family. I'm gonna play the role of the wife, but I ain't gonna put up with this shit. And you gotta change it, right?
Okay, thanks a lot. I don't even think it has to do with the word submissive. Us ladies have an issue with that, okay? So it's not about being submissive. It's knowing what you want. Because when I said about the business, it doesn't bother me to be behind the scenes.
Right.
Because it's what I want.
Mm.
And that we're a team. But it comes to my values and my core. No, you're not going to go drinking with your buddies. I know who your buddies are. No, you're not going to do this, right? You're going to respect me.
Right.
And boundaries. I don't think that has to do anything with a woman being submissive. They just need to communicate what they really want. And I think people are a little afraid of taking that step to really show who they are. Because they're afraid of, are they going to stick around? And they just kind of go along with it.
But that's what I meant by being submissive. They just go along with let them be them, and I'm okay with it. I'm being submissive. I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah.
Which basically you're agreeing with me. Thank you.
I think it's because they're confused, and I see it in a different way. But it's fine if you want to.
I think I kind of understand. Yeah, I kind of understand.
It's kind of similar.
Yeah. But I think sometimes people just are so afraid, and at the end of the day, it comes to you. You need to fix yourself. A lot of girls too. I see in our business. They're dating and they say it's really difficult out there, but they don't change their patterns too, or they're not clear on what they want.
It's big. Clarity's big. You got to know what you want.
Or they say they want this, I want a serious relationship, and then I see them
going
at
out.
clubs. Yes.
Well,
networking events, and I'm like,
facts.
You know what I mean?
We'll get into that.
Let me share this because one time we're having dinner with Brian Tracy.
Okay.
I love
You know that is right.
The sales. He has an audio sales book.
Yes.
Over
Sales
100
book,
books.
right? Yeah.
Super famous speaker, book writer. We're having dinner with him because we had him speak at one of our events. And Jeanette asked a question about women and marrying a millionaire. Like a lot of women want that. And then he said something like, "Well, you got to ask yourself, am I the material that $1 million person, someone that's making money, would want to marry?"
That's fire.
Isn't it fire?
And most women probably will tell you no, because a millionaire is not just thinking
And he was talking about
cute, big boobs and big
multi-millionaires.
butt, right? You're talking about, they want smart. They want someone that's going to help them build an empire,
Or
right?
very grounded
Good
with
value,
their values.
grounded, big with faith. There's a whole thing that they're looking for. And then are you $1 million material?
Or
That's
are
the
you
question.
the girl with like, hey, at the bar? There's a lot of choices to that. Me as a female, I know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure that.
I think like I heard somebody say one time too, like if a man has problems with women, or I'm sorry, with women, then there's a lineage and a study that shows that the man also has a hard time with money in their finances. And I could see that because I know people. We all know people. We all know the players.
Yes.
Right? Let's
Yeah.
be honest. We've all been to the networking events. And it's like, wait a second. You were just talking to so-and-so like last week.
Yes.
And then they may look like they're doing really good financially, but
Yes.
maybe there's problems
I think
financially.
On
you
an
know?
overview, you spend a lot of money anyways dating and stuff, right? Like speaking for someone single, like you spend a lot of money just even like people you don't even know. So I could see why that correlation does happen for sure. But I could also add the fact that the pattern is like, Christian, you were saying, like, you keep it that 30 year, people were asking you. Our PBD, Patrick David, I overheard him say this in the conference, saying that he was attracting the same kind of women in his life, the same kind of things. And he was like, dude, it's not the girls, it's me.
It's insanity.
He had to like reflect and change everything that he was doing. He's like, I can't date right now. I need to physically see what patterns am I doing? What, again, like you're saying, am I attracting that person, or am I attracting just that kind of girl, like, or that kind of guy?
100%. That's what basically what Brian Tracy was saying.
Oh, yeah.
It comes down to what are you attracting?
The physical attraction. Now we're talking transitioning into business. Obviously, how do you guys handle you guys' ambitions, and how do you guys continue to keep growing the business that you guys have right now? Because you guys, we see everything you guys are doing. It's really amazing, by the way. Really, really great that you.
So look, I'll take you back a little bit. So we started our company small, as 4 agents. We opened our office at that time. Jeanette was going to run operations. I was going to run the sales and the recruiting and the mentoring, and then sure enough, we started growing and growing and growing. Our mission was simple. I was a big producer at that time, and I was like, or we said, we're going to share everything we do. Like, we're going to be open books. So I was doing already over $1 million in sales. So we said, we're just going to bring people. We're all going to share open door policy. Everybody's open to work with each other, and success is contagious, right? That's when it came. Success is contagious, because we believe that if you surround yourself with the right people, right, like-minded individuals, then you can become just like them. So sure enough, we started growing our office. We went from 4 agents to 10 agents to 20 agents. All those agents started making money, not all of them, but a big portion of them. Next thing you know, I'm doing flips. I'm teaching them how to do flips. They're flipping properties themselves too. People are going, oh my God, they're flipping houses now. We go to 30, 40. Jeanette ran the company by herself with one admin until about 30 agents. And then eventually we hired, I think, a second assistant, got to like 40. Then we got a manager. She had her manager finally. Now we're like growing. We're at 40. We're like, yeah. I remember back then we were thinking like, man, can you imagine 100 agents? That would be just too crazy. Like, that would never happen.
That's so
We
dope.
wouldn't even believe that would happen. And sure enough, we got to 100, second manager, and then we got to 200, 300, and we're over 300 now. But it's been an amazing journey. But Jeanette mainly runs the operations, staff, legal. We also own an escrow company. Jeanette runs the escrow company, right? She runs. She works with all the managers and day to day, right? So, and I'm focusing on sales. So our partnership has worked very well. And at the same time, we got kids, and we got karate, and we got basketball, and we got all this personal stuff going on. And she works out. I like to work out. We do our fitness stuff. And so I think we have been able to, from a lot of mentors and coaching and all this stuff, being able to build a business that we can have fun, and at the same time we can make money.
And if I could say something,
yeah, please.
Because you said the drive, like how do we have the drive still to do that? So imagine starting from the bottom, because we started from the bottom after 2008, even though he used to be a top producer. 2000, we started from the bottom, and then we said, and everybody was struggling. And at that time, people had mansions. They had to sell their mansions. If you have an apartment, you don't have an apartment anymore. So everybody was like humbling themselves and starting from the bottom. So when we started, just 4 agents and being very mindful, and sometimes it's not how much you make, it's also what you make with your money. We started to learn of that. We started going to the courthouses. Back in the day, it was not popular to do flips. Christian was one of the pioneers. We were sounding old. And then he said, and I struggled with it. We were doing really, really good. And he says, I'm going to teach our 7, 10 agents how to do this. I was like, are you sure? I was like, but this is not how they're going to not focus on selling houses. He's like, no, because I want to show them what we do. This is who we are. And success is contagious. This is like a stamp of who we are. So from being like, are you sure? This is like a different. So he did. And proudly, first you're like, oh my gosh. So 1, 2 become millionaires. They start flipping. Then,
wow. And
you guys know them. We have like 10 people that are one of the highest producers in our areas. And they all came from our office. We hired people that they didn't start as producers in our office. So it is a drive. It is that drives us that it's not about one person or a one time. It's like you can impact people's lives like tremendously.
In different ways, yeah.
In different ways.
Success is so contagious, and when you surround yourself with those people. Like I love going to your guys' office. I have the pleasure of going to a lot of real estate offices, right? Me not being in real estate, so I get to visit a lot of real estate offices, and I could hands down say that nobody has the culture that Remax Top Producer has.
Thank you.
Because, and I say that genuinely, because what you guys have cultivated, I think one of the foundations is faith, of course, and you guys have a family together. Yeah. So when it's like the foundation is so tight at the top, you guys are naturally just giving that. That family environment, you feel it walking in the door.
Oh, thank you.
You know what I mean? I think that's so big, and that's what that's what drives people.
You.
That's what drives people.
Thank
Success. You. That success is so contagious. Let's learn more about the Success is Contagion movement for the love of real estate events that Christian and Jeanette have coming up here in the month of February. Stay tuned for the next episode because you don't want to miss it. Okay, you don't want to miss it.